In the summer of 2016, Treyarch released a map that stunned and divided the community in some ways that still remain unprecedented to this day. Incredible 0.1% probability miracles, game-breaking glitches, cheating accusations, and emotional moments all encapsulated themselves in the Easter egg hunt of a singular map that would be as divisive as it was mind-blowing. Today, we will uncover that largely forgotten or untold story, whilst breaking down the era-defining shockwaves that Black Ops 3's penultimate Zombies map sent through the community. Zombie Zone, with the world's first coverage of the brand new Easter egg, will be out this Thursday. Make sure you guys are in stream to catch live updates on every single step of the Easter egg and all of the actions and controversies that come with it. As July 12th of 2016 rolled around, casual players and Easter egg hunters alike loaded into a war-torn Stalingrad 8 years after they had battled amongst the streets with Reznov in World at War. Although this time, things were much different. It was daytime, it was louder, it was more chaotic, and more vibrant, yet equally as atmospheric. Gorod's atmosphere really helps to disprove that modern-day myth that a zombies map needs to be dark and stormy to be full of character. And the return to a war-torn Europe, albeit in a different universe, helped to restore a more classical feel to a game that had turned away from its roots to a more fantasy feel. To those who love the innovation Blundell had been making, however, Gorod had plenty of it. Mythical dragons battled in the sky, corpses of dragons littered the ground, and draconic features could be felt throughout its Easter egg. With this combination of old and new, turning Gorod Krovi into a symbol of where zombies had started and how far it had come. As cool as dragons are, to this day, there are still people who hate the fantasy direction that Blundell took zombies to. However, there is a much bigger reason Gorod became controversial that we will discuss later. The Black Ops 3 era is often regarded as the golden age of zombies, and while this is for a number of reasons, one of the biggest is the fact that Treyarch and even Activision seemed genuinely in tune and mindful of the community. The developers began to add community recommendations as gobblegums, including the disgusting looking projectile vomiting gum, as well as the Slaughter Slide, which was a love letter to the community conceptualized banana colada we see frequenting custom maps now.
Did you hear about banana colada?
Yes.
Is it a silly idea?
However, as golden as this age seemed, Activision were still Activision, and therefore the evolution of pay-to-win features was inevitable. The crate power and shopping free gums obliterated setup mechanics and saved players tens of thousands of points. Gobblegums of this power were controversial because they created a divide between those willing to spend money and those who were not. Even 5 years after Black Ops 3's launch, people were still freaking out when there were offers to distill it for cheap in the Gobblegum factory. However, I think the biggest signal for just how controversial a gobblegum of this nature became is the fact that even in the microtransaction haven of 2025 and in Black Ops 6 with its $30 plus skins, Treyarch and Activision refrained from adding shopping free, even if it was somewhat teased prior to launch.
I'm looking for shopping free.
Not at launch.
While the relationship between player and creator was certainly more harmonious than it is nowadays, it's incorrect to assume that the launch of Gorod was entirely well received. Treyarch were not gentle with their audience here. The map was a serious challenge, and not just for casual players. It assumed that you had conquered the previous 3 maps and were ready to up the ante. Yet this created quite the controversy and divide. Old forum threads have immortalized the true feelings of those at the time, with players poetically describing the map as beautiful but brutal, while others took the harsher approach of a frustrating maze or I have no desire to play the game long term. The negative takes were far from isolated, but equally as far from universal. The emotion within its story made it a must-watch for all, yet the difficulty, the complexity, and the sheer weight that zombies had become sadly made it an only watch and not play situation for some, with one user saying how it was, quote, more exciting to read about than experience. Perhaps this is what makes the story of Gorod Krovi and its Easter egg hunt so fascinating. And so with that, I want to rewind the clock back and revisit how the Easter egg was solved and how its steps impacted the community as well as the future of zombies. From the very first cutscene, Gorod clarifies the player's mission, and Nikolai's drunken misery gives the environment a human pulse. However, eager Easter egg hunters at the time found themselves more disoriented and curious on where to start. It's important to remember that Black Ops 3 had no minimap or objective beacons, so players had to rely on environmental indicators to navigate their way around the Stalingrad rubble. Much like other big maps, however, Treyarch's design team left subtle indicators in each room to help players commit the map's layout to memory, helping to immerse the player into feeling this really was a busy war hub before all the explosions happened. After the criticism of Zetsubou's excessive setup, Treyarch reacted favorably, and Easter egg hunters found themselves nicely guided through the power and pack-a-punch steps, with the annoying plant generators a thing of the past, instead switched out for the classic power signs and a good old-fashioned switch. The setup for pack-a-punch was less classical, but simply incredible, requiring players to call in drop pods with the Dragon Code cylinder that randomly dropped from zombies. A part would be rewarded once these pods had briefly been defended, and once all 3 controller parts had been earned, something incredible was uncovered by the community. Now, I'd love to show some incredible reactions to hunters seeing this plot twist for the first time, but there really aren't any true ones. Treyarch had actually hosted a pre-capture creator event for this map, and therefore, to the disappointment of many, pretty much all of the setup was discovered beforehand. Flying a dragon to a new location that's somewhat reminiscent of Nocturne Toten in itself is pretty cool, but not everyone was happy about it. While certainly more of a spectacle than Zetsubou's fetch quest for Pack-a-Punch, many still became frustrated that there was a mini quest at all, as it can become a chore on repeat playthroughs, and once the initial novelty wears off. However, 9 years on, the dragon simply adds so much character to the map, and compared to Black Ops 6's Pack-a-Punch unlocks, the latter just feels so incredibly soulless and forgettable in comparison. Pack-a-Punch and Power were not the only quests solved in this pre-capture period, however. Players also found a draconic zombie shield that further evolved the rocket shield seen on Shadows of Evil, and the electric shield seen on Zetsubou. Furthermore, the Dragon Strike ability proved to be an evolution of the G-Strike found in Origins, offering explosive assistance from above, before players finally found the map's wonder weapon, the GKZ-45 MK3, aka the Raygun Mark III, dropped from the box. This fan-requested wonder weapon was reminiscent of the Zap guns found on Moon, with their dual-wield capability, and had been wanted from the community since there was no new ray gun that was added since the Mark II's first appearance in Black Ops 2's Buried. Whereas the Apothecon Servant, the bows, and the KT-4 were all craftable, the MK3s were entirely RNG-based, but not directly required for any Easter egg steps at all. For me, a buildable wonder weapon adds character to the map, as collecting the parts from the environment and using it in the Easter egg makes it feel more unique. But I understand the appeal of the classic RNG-based system, so I'm interested to hear what you guys prefer in the comments down below. When the actual Easter egg hunt began on the official release date, the initial discovery process was incredibly confusing.
What the f is this piece of sh?
Within the first couple of hours, it became apparent that much like Zetsubou, the Gorod Krovi Easter egg took a largely non-linear approach, meaning that the majority of the steps could be completed in any order, and therefore no one really knew the best sequence to approach things. One of the first steps discovered was actually partly uncovered by Noah J at the capture event, but not fully understood until launch.
So let me go ahead and show you guys one of the things that I found that looks like it could be the first step of the Easter egg, but I'm not really sure. It's basically this little switch right here that I just activated. There's a little red switch that when you go through this escape tunnel, you can actually shoot to activate, and I believe that's the first step to a Easter egg.
20 minutes after this clip, around 40 minutes into the launch, Noah discovered what he'd unknowingly spawned when activating this switch.
Not sure I'm in the mood for a treasure hunt.
What did I just get?
Initially, Noah believed he had found what he described as the cog, but Dempsey's description of, quote, treasure was actually more accurate of a description.
You got poop. No, I got a gear or a cog or something.
Now, this wasn't poop either. It was instead a 935 trophy, and one of 6 trophies Easter egg hunters would spend the next day trying to find. To find these trophies, hunters would need to complete several challenges. However, unlike the displayed challenges in Origins, Zetsubou, or even this map, these were entirely hidden and mini Easter eggs in and of themselves. While nowadays I like to host my Zombie Zone streams to serve as a hub for the Easter egg community, back in 2016, individual streams like Noah's were really the center of information sharing. And this is why his footage is so frequent in these discovery videos, as with Twitch VOD issues, it's really some of the only surviving footage that showcases the story and the atmosphere of the hunt. The popularity of a stream having millions of views speaks volumes to the willingness of the community to try everything to progress. And while sadly the chat is not immortalized to revisit this, players at the time flooded streams like Noah's with wacky suggestions, and while 90% are completely useless, 3 hours after launch, a donation and a suggestion from T Boner would speed things up.
If you don't know if you've seen it, you can activate a generator to the left of the incubator looking from the exit. You can activate a generator to the left of the incubator looking from the exit. Okay, let's go check that out.
Noah made his way to the hatchery to investigate the generator and initially theorized something completely incorrect.
To the left of the incubator looking from the exit. Another idea is getting him to shock something, but I don't think that's going to be it either.
However, not for the only time in this run, RNG was on his side, and the Valkyries shocked the generator unknowingly, in turn activating it. However, what this generator actually did would remain hidden for a little while longer, as players became distracted by the non-linear nature of the hunt. About 4 hours into the hunt, further progression was made when the community led Noah to a dragon egg in the hatchery.
Yeah, so we have a dragon egg now?
Almost immediately, a chatter named Neon Planet first alerted him to the nest location. And while the initial steps we've discussed so far were pretty easy to discover naturally, the next step could not be more of the opposite, with it being widely considered as the hardest zombies puzzle in zombies history up to that point. Way earlier in the run, Noah had noticed a little cipher or coding device stuck in a clear tube, and the generator he had turned on allowed the valves around the map to be activated as a way to alter the airflow with the goal of getting the master code cylinder out. The technical process of doing this was incredibly simple. It was literally just interacting with a few valves, but knowing which valves to interact with was a whole different ballgame. With 6 valves and 3 different settings on each valve, there were over 700 possible combinations. Yet somehow Noah J managed to get the greatest stroke of luck and complete the puzzle with the singular random turn of the first valve he saw, which has a staggering 0.1% chance of happening on any given run.
I'm trying to find the little thingies around the map. Oh, here's one.
Now, someone is probably going to tell me that my math is wrong, and if it is, I'm sorry. But the point is that this was unbelievably lucky for Noah and the entire community. But things would get even crazier from here. While the Easter egg discovery process is not technically a race, people do like to be first. And this stroke of luck had unknowingly given Noah a gigantic lead in the hunt, as it would take until early afternoon of day 1 for others to crack the step, and until the evening for the process to be fully understood. While I would love to credit the original player or team who cracked this step for the community, it's been lost to time. After picking up the cylinder, Noah rushed back to the map's secondary narrator, Sophia, to give her the tool. And this is where things got weird.
Password is incorrect. Please provide correct password.
Oh my gosh, what is the password? Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, we just found another step.
Right after defying the odds with an insane stroke of luck, Noah was met with a puzzle in which he would have to beat the odds again. Sophia needed a password from a select set of letters, but only one password attempt could be entered per round. This is where the community came together to write down every possible letter and every possible combination of letters until something made sense. And with the password's hint so well hidden that many still don't know it exists 10 years later, it was up to the community to guess. Zombies expert Mr. Raffle Waffles was summoned here to work on solutions.
Yo.
Hey, Noah J.
And passwords of Aether, Ludwig, and Primus were some of the ideas tested unsuccessfully. The community immersion here was really off the charts, as people tried to get inside the mind of the password maker to crack the code.
The thing is, it's not gonna be something like zombie. This dude that was in a drone is not gonna put his password as zombie.
But as the rounds increased, a tough call was nearing. Did Noah really want to reset, knowing that he lucked out with a 0.1% chance on the valve step? Obviously not. But could he afford to continue the zombie density and difficulty climbing? Also no. However, this is where Noah's run of miracles seemed to continue.
I'm looking for any final password. Is it better? No, I don't think it's better. Any final password attempts? I already tried Aether. Should I try Porter first or I guess I'll just try Kronos.
Password accepted. Access granted.
I assume you can understand voice commands. Tell us where we may locate replacement power core.
My records indicate that you are familiar to Dr. Maxis. You will help me initiate Ascension protocol. Proceeding to Ascension Phase 1. Ascension data absent. Locate missing code units to proceed.
Use code Evan at Cheeky and Gamersubs right now for the best deals on the entire website. Check the link in the description of this video. The reason behind the Kronos password is one of Gorod's best kept secrets, so well hidden that many still have misconceptions about it a decade later. Some incorrectly think it's a reference to The Incredibles or a reference to Treyarch's love of mythology, but these are not true. Kronos is actually the alleged codename of a secret World War II project devised under the rule of the Austrian painter whose name I don't want to say on YouTube. Die Glock was a bell-shaped device claimed to produce anti-gravitational, radioactive, and even time and space warping effects, which possibly alludes to its existence in Gorod Krovi's own time warp 1940s timeline. While there is obviously no verifiable evidence this project ever existed in real life, there is a letter in the Dragon command that says even if someone was able to obtain one of the special code cylinders, they would still need to know the password. While it's possible it could be guessed, it is easy for our researchers to remember due to its association to our Die Glock research. This was so well hidden that some people even developed the Die Glock theory before even seeing the letter referencing it. And it's hilariously iconic that the password was actually guessed after all of this. But perhaps that is the fault of Treyarch for not just having a keyboard input style instead. The uncovering of this step stunned Noah and the community into silence as Sophia was speaking, and it's at this point she would play a more active role in guiding players through the Easter egg steps. Though Sophia wasn't Mr. Raffle Waffles and this wasn't a no-nonsense guide, so things would be far from straightforward here. It's worth noting that while the hunt was happening, players were also slowly working through the individual challenges presented to them in Belinsky Square, and also moving the dragon egg with the intent of hatching it, as progress was tracked below the scoreboard. While he was definitely not the first to do it, Noah's footage was the first I could find of the egg challenges being completed, and the dragon-inspired specialist weapon being awarded. Much like specialist weapons before it, the Gauntlet of Siegfried was a powerful weapon in the player's arsenal, acting as an infinite damage melee weapon, a fun but somewhat weak dragon breath flamethrower, and more importantly, a crucial Easter egg tool that would be used to punch open a safe to acquire a trophy. The next two trophies were a little more troublesome for the community to find, with one being about as insanely random as Easter egg steps get. This required players to call a dragon strike on this incredibly evil looking puddle. I will say this puddle looks almost identical to the one used for the ray gun Easter egg in World at War's campaign, but I'm not sure the original solver was running with this theory. Using the dragon strike here gave a nuke trophy for nuking the puddle, I guess. But this step more so proved that despite Gorod being known for its ambitious and well thought out puzzles, Treyarch would still rely on good old fashioned MacGuffins in their hunts. And I'm curious if you guys think that steps like this are good for Easter eggs, or if you prefer puzzly steps that require more logic. Several hours into the hunt, the community would discover its third trophy that was less random and more incredibly well hidden. Players needed to shoot the hand of a mural outside of the dragon control, with the trophy blending perfectly into the mural. Treyarch deserves plenty of credit for this one in my opinion, with the trophy hiding in plain sight, simply requiring eager eyes from the hunters.
Who would abandon such an item?
2 more to go, boys. 2 more to go. Let's get it. Let's freaking get it.
With 3 trophies down and just 6 hours into the hunt, it felt like this Easter egg may be the quickest solve of Black Ops 3, until Noah J hit a very buggy wall. Chatters in the stream alerted Noah to the possible existence of the Mangler trophy via the giant eye laser beam trap. However, when he turned on this trap, nothing happened, and the trophy didn't appear, only to find out that his instance was entirely bugged.
Nothing.
At first, it wasn't abundantly clear that Noah had a bug game, as he, much like the majority of the community, had no idea if this information he was being fed was actually true. Noah would continue playing through this and collect the Groff module trophy after being told to punch the safe that we talked about earlier. Mr. Dalek JD, or a source close to him, would be responsible for the discovery of the 6th and final trophy, after discovering that the evolved shield could be used to fire a projectile attack to shoot a pipe near the armory. Unfortunately for Noah, this is where his run of miracles would meet its end, with the buggy instance preventing him from collecting his final trophy. And with no clear method on how to complete the valve step again, he would take a break after nearly 18 hours straight of streaming. Eventually, however, guides for the valve step would be published, and a few teams would collect all 6 trophies required and progress into the unknown. Focus shifted to the team of JC Backfire, Edgeheads, Kingdom Hops, and the JFK Gamer YouTube, as they sought to be the first legit team in the world, after a cheating scandal that we will discuss later. After they placed down the trophies, the screen flashed white to indicate progression, and Sophia would present further trials for the team to complete. There were 5 trials in total presented to the Easter egg hunters, but the order in which each team faced these would be random and vary in difficulty. Escorting a special Mangler enemy, as well as escorting a very fragile Valkyrie enemy, would be the easiest of these trials. Collecting the soul of Gersh would also be fairly straightforward for teams, simply requiring players to shoot a glowing yellow orb that moved around the map, although its fast no-clipping movements did make it a challenge for some teams. A more complex version of the Pack-a-Punch drop pod defenses would also need to be completed, with initial teams being confused by the fact that you have to send your dragon out to retrieve the part Sophia needed. However, by far the most annoying trial for teams at the time, and still teams to this day, was the bomb trial. The trophy screen would quickly illuminate and outline a sequence of rooms on the map, and it would be up to hunters to race to these rooms and defuse the bombs in the order that had been shown to them. If the order was entered wrong or teams took too long, the bombs would detonate and instantly kill anyone in a room with one. And with the sequence flashed up so quickly, panic quickly ensued for most teams, and those who didn't stay calm could easily see their run wipe with this step. After this 5th trial had been completed, JC placed a keycard on the backup computer to initiate one final lockdown, with nothing but tanky Manglers, a step that once again could get overwhelming very quickly. Just over 24 hours into the hunt, and JC's team now found themselves just moments away from a boss fight. After they delivered the power core to Nikolai, something mind-blowing happened.
Get on it, we're doing it. I'll do this corner. I'm doing this corner.
Okay.
Make sure you're actually standing on it. I am. Okay. We going? I'm in. Is everyone in?
We're good. Thank God. Woo. I didn't get the shield. F everything. It's fine. It's fine. I'll stay in the trenches.
Let's fucking go, boys.
F my life, guys. F my life. I'm so tired.
Now, their reactions to this boss were certainly nothing as special as what we've seen in the past, as they were trying not to die from reported glitches in the sewer, and they had certainly seen parts of the boss fight from teams that had reached it beforehand. At first, players were surprised and skeptical to see Nikolai help them in the giant boss fight, as he zapped the dragon, signaling damage. It was then clear that JC and friends were extremely nervous, knowing that at any moment their run could be over, and with some especially close calls, no one knew if they could actually pull through, until they finally did.
Revealed. Got him, I got him.
Got him?
Yeah, I'll get him.
I'll get your back.
You get it?
Yeah. Everyone be quiet.
Alright, I have fear in headlights, I'll use it.
Quiet.
Nikolai, the world around us is a fragment, a twisted alternate of what was supposed to be. We have found a way to put things right. We can end the war. We can restore peace. But only if your very existence is erased from this twisted history. A true Russian never surrenders.
Here we go, boys.
In a not so shocking twist, however, Nikolai, the last of the Ultimus crew, did not want to be sacrificed, and therefore put up quite the fight for JC's team to contend with. While blasting the Russian national anthem, Nikolai launched shock traps around the arena and rushed the player with his robot. This fight was seriously challenging and left very little room for error, with Gobblegums almost a requirement to stay alive or to revive downed teammates. JC's team had a rough time in this fight, and at times it seemed all but certain that they'd fail.
I'm gonna throw my dragon at him.
Alright, so we have to shoot the middle.
In the middle. I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Phoenix up.
I'm dead!
Okay. Let me loop. Shoot us. I'm going. Oh my god. Ah.
Stinky, shoot me!
One's up. Kingdom run.
What do I do?
Do you have
Just
anything?
get me.
Do you have anything?
No.
Kingdom, if
Monkeys,
you can get monkey.
I don't have monkeys.
The Kingdom try and get me, and I can try and get them.
Okay. Fuck! I got knocked up.
Give me. You can get me. I have Phoenix up.
Use it! Oh my god, yes.
Despite multiple downs, 0 perks, and many hours invested, the team eventually battled the odds and claimed world's first legit completion.
Ah! Ow, fuck.
Stay alive.
Oh my god.
Shush!
Now you may question why this run has the asterisk of legit world's first, and that's because a few hours earlier, a team had actually cheated their way to a completion. A YouTuber named Silas had abused an exploit with the undead man walking Gobblegum to drastically slow the zombies forever, and after an infamous record for their Easter eggs being cheated, it's really no surprise that Treyarch had another egg fall to foul play again. The community was quick to disregard this team, however, with even the cheaters themselves being happy to exclude themselves from the world's first discussions. However, with the completion and the cutscene, players witnessed a teaser for the finale of Black Ops 3 Zombies, and that is called Revelations. And I will see you there.